Welcome to podcast 49 in the series of Who Let the Master Out. In our previous podcasts, we've centered on hearing from the source, from the other side, the mother and father of all things, our creator. For me, those messages feel as though they kind of drop into the top of my head or slap me upside the back of my head sometimes. But it always feels as if it comes from above. Well, in 2017, as my love energy expanded, I began receiving messages for others from loved ones who had returned home. I'll talk more about that specific experience in the next podcast. But when this information started to come to me, it felt slightly different, and it feels slightly different still. It usually seems like it's coming to me from to the left side of me, behind like an invisible veil. Prior to 2017, every once in a great while, I would receive kind of a rogue communication from someone who had passed. And on one such occasion, I was chatting online with someone in a public chat room and suddenly felt the presence of his mother. And the message that came through, she basically wanted him to stop feeling guilty for not being there in the hospital when she died. And then suddenly, I knew what the situation had been. It's like she put the memory in my head. And she said that while she had been hospitalized, his father was also in a hospital at the exact same time, but in another state further away. And her son and daughter had to choose which parent they would visit because they wanted their parents to have at least one of their children with them as they passed over. So the son chose the father, and the sister stayed with his mother. And I was also aware, while receiving this information, that his father was also present, but he was in the background in that moment. His mother was speaking for the father in the same manner she did when they were both here alive on earth. But they also wanted their son to let his sister know that they understood and that neither of them needed to carry any burden now. His parents were both fine and very happy on the other side. The individual I was chatting with confirmed that that was exactly the case, and that he would be sure to share the conversation with his sister. You would think after a couple of decades of giving readings and having situations like this happen often, that you could become used to them happening or become complacent with them. But even today, I'm just always continually excited and surprised when it happens, even though I kind of know it's going to happen, if that makes sense. I've had so many readings and situations where loved ones came through to speak to their loved ones. And I've noticed that there are a few things that have become evident to me, and they wanted me to share these with you. These are 3 things they want us to know. Number 1, they're waiting. On the other side of every card reading, every journal entry, every prayer, every meditation, is a host of powerful spirit beings who want to give us their unconditional love and assist us in our journey of experiences here in the physical plane. They want us to know that we are never alone, ever. Expect them to answer you because they are always speaking to you. They're always answering you. We only have to turn down our fear noise to hear their whispers of unconditional love. Number two, they're happy. When they stand on the edge of the veil between the physical plane and the spiritual plane, they behave like they're giddy, almost even high. And that's because there is such an extreme contrast between unconditional love where they are at and this conditional love based in fear that exists on this side where we're at. It almost feels like they're flooded with extra unconditional love to an extreme extent when they come to the edge of the veil. And even while they're all giddy and happy and overjoyed, they do try to honor the sadness we are feeling for their passing. But really, they're just trying not to grin the entire time. They aren't suffering. They aren't sad. They're in need of nothing because they are everything. And they say, don't be sad for me or worry about me because I'm in paradise. I'm having a blast watching your journey. Look for me. Listen for me because I am always with you. And the third thing they want us to know right now is that they are not themselves. When they come to us, when they make themselves known to us here in the physical plane, they communicate as the character they played while they were here on Earth, so we recognize them. But they always want to make it very clear that it is important to understand that they are no longer that character. They often tell me, that character was killed off, but the actor is still alive. They showed me that we all sit around a large table before we come to this giant stage, deciding who will play what role in whose life. We do that so that we can each experience exactly what we are wanting to experience here. Sometimes we do ask for villains in our stories, and it can take some convincing for unconditional love beings to agree to play such evil characters. Those who have the closest connections with us are usually the ones who volunteer to hurt us here the most. Sound familiar? Those with whom we've had difficult experiences with before their passing sometimes come through to deliver messages. But in all of my readings, they have always wanted me to make sure I reiterated they were simply playing a character for a bigger purpose. And they want the character you are still playing here on this plane to be able to know the true higher being they are now. It's like watching an interview with an actor or actress who plays a really mean character in a television series or in a movie. Yet we eventually see them as the sweet people they are outside of the movie screen or the TV screen. They even sometimes apologize for how rude they seemed in their character roles, though some of them admit it's kind of fun because it isn't real. One of the things souls who have returned back home really want us to know is that they are more than fine now. And they never leave our side, even though their physical bodies aren't here anymore. Our fear ego causes us to fear and feel losses. But the souls back home say that we can never truly be less because of who we really are. Powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit beings made from unconditional love. You aren't crying for them. You're crying out of fear for yourself. Next episode, I'm going to share the experience I had with my first card reading in 2017 when loved ones from the other side came through to chat with a friend. Until then, you masters, look in the mirror. Do you see that huge giant of an amazing, powerful spirit being looking back at you? If you don't yet, look deeper. Look beyond the character in the mirror. Look into your heart. Look into the depths of your eyes. Feel the amazing, unconditional love that is radiating within you. Because you are made of unconditional love. You are love. Enjoy the journey. I love you.